The LIFX Luna looks so cool. Every time I look at it, I just want to get another one. And even if you aren't usually into multicolored accent lights, LIFX Luna I think is one worth paying attention to. But while it does have the sexy industrial design of a hit product and some cool new features, are there enough drawbacks that mean that it doesn't add up to its sleek appearance? If you're new here, I'm Eric Welander. I've been working in app development on top of Apple's platform since 2011 and building out my smart home here on YouTube since 2018. So if you're into Apple or smart home tech, consider subscribing. And thanks to LIFX for sending me the Luna Light to check out ahead of the release date with no strings attached. This video is not sponsored and they don't get to see it before you guys do. Now, some people on the internet are saying this light is so great because it supports matter binding. This means the light can talk directly to other matter accessories, but this standard is in early phases and isn't supported by the big smart home ecosystems like Apple Home and probably won't be anytime soon. Consider matter binding a nice side bonus you might care about someday, but not a reason to buy or avoid this light. That said, what are the things that would help you make the decision about whether to get this light or not? I first saw LIFX Luna at PepCom at CES in Vegas this January. I was struck by how cool it looked, and the slanted design sits nicely on an end table or a shelf. The rubber around the back edges give the lamp a nice grip so it won't easily slide around the table. The buttons on the top are rubber and feel great to press, and the etching is easy enough to figure out which button is which. I still think they could evolve these controls to make them easier to feel and find in the dark and to understand what button is for on and off. But what they have right now is fine. The front of the light has 31 addressable LED zones with what LIFX calls its polychrome technology. This means you can seamlessly blend gradients of color and animate those changes, all while getting an insane 1000 lumens of brightness. This light also offers a wide range of color temperature from 1500 Kelvin all the way up to 9000 Kelvin, but it only has a CRI of 80. This means you wouldn't want to use this light for things like video production or to exactly match the color of other nearby lights, but it should work great for its intended purpose of accent lighting. The 1000 lumens of brightness is almost double that of one of the big competitors, the Philips Hue Go. It's a feature that feels a lot more like a proof of concept to me than practical. In most cases, I would only want that level of brightness diffused by a light that's meant for the entire room, not aimed right at me. Since the days of the iPod, Apple has let users set a volume limit for music. If you have this on, it means that when you set your volume to 100%, it's not actually 100% of the possible volume. I think this light should have a similar option that you could set in the LIFX app. Then when any Matter smart home platform tells this light to be at 100% brightness, it's actually only 40% of what it could be. This light looks great at really dim levels, and I think that's how a lot of people will enjoy it. Having it suddenly blast to 1000 lumens would be annoying, and there is a workaround though that we'll get to in a minute. And of course, there are still some reasons to appreciate all that brightness. Back in the days of yore when I was a bachelor, I used to wake up to an alarm clock that would gradually light up my bedroom with light that imitated the sun. I enjoyed this as a way to help me get up early in those days after college when that seemed like a miracle. Many lights like that have limited smart home connections. If you sleep alone or wake up with your partner, this lamp could be a great way to get that effect in a single light that's also connected to your smart home. And yes, any smart home platform can easily turn your light on at a particular time, but this lamp taps into LIFX's routines feature that gradually shifts the color and brightness of the light over a certain period of time you can set in the app. In this case, when you wake up. LIFX loves this feature so much that they have a similar suggested routine for your evening during setup. I was rushing through the setup and forgot I had this turned on, only to have my family complain multiple nights in a row that Dad's light in the bedroom was still on. Once I realized that it was the routine in the LIFX app doing this, it was easy to turn it off and get it to stop. You can also mount this light on your wall or ceiling. The wall mount is a clever cross shape that means you only need one screw or the adhesive to secure it to the wall. It rests just slightly away from the wall, so there's enough room for the cable to sneak out of any side of the light. You could also lay this light on its back to get a bathtub look and bring accent lighting to a wall. In the right scenario, this could be a great way to add accent lighting behind a piece of furniture without needing to hassle with installing light strips. In the same vein, the wall mount could be used to mount this light as a downlight for some shelves or cabinets. These are also circumstances where that extra brightness could actually be really handy if you could limit it in software during other cases, which brings it to the software side. You'll want to set this light up first in the LIFX app to get any firmware updates and all the customization options around lighting scenes, custom lighting, and the buttons. From there, you can add it to your smart home system of choice like Apple Home. This talks to Matter over Wi-Fi. When I talked to LIFX CEO David McLaughlin in January, he mentioned that he would like to see LIFX ship an update sometime in the future to turn on the Thread radio that happens to be in the same chipset LIFX is using for this light. We'll see if that actually happens. Either way, the connection to my smart home has been solid so far with Wi-Fi. Each button can be set to a specific setting inside either the LIFX app or a Matter app like Apple Home, for each option of single press, double press, or long press. The idea I had was to set the minus and plus buttons to set specific brightness levels in Apple Home every time I press them. I want to keep the outside as toggling power with the LIFX scenes because LIFX scenes really make this light look cool. So far, I've had trouble getting various configurations of mixed button setups where some of the buttons are in Apple Home and others are in the LIFX app to work well. You either need to make the settings all be in the LIFX app or all in the Apple Home app, in my experience, to get optimal performance. This is fine in my opinion. If you've been watching this channel though for a while, you know I love buttons to control my smart home. I love that LIFX is adding them here, but I think these kind of buttons built into a specific light feel unnatural controlling lots of other tech in my home. I think there will definitely be some cool uses people come up with, like the one David mentioned to me of controlling all bedroom lights from a LIFX Luna on the bedside table. But I've struggled with coming up with customized options that would actually work for me for my own needs. I typically need my buttons mounted away from the easy reach of my small children. If I connected this light to my good night scene, it would be triggered all too often with my kids playing with the cool new lamp. That said, if you want to see my entire smart home and see ways I'm trying to use Matter to set up lots of accessories together, check out my recent smart home tour, linked somewhere here on the screen. Overall, I think the creative form factor of LIFX Luna presents a lot of unique options for adding lighting to your spaces without as much setup work as a lot of accent lights tend to entail. That said, you might just end up leaving the top 4 buttons in their default setting, and I think that's fine too. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.